The topic of employment and social inclusion is indeed crucially important for all of our societies. In fact, the recent global economic crisis has accentuated the increasingly social dimension of the challenges our countries face. Since 2008, growth in the region has stalled, and the crisis has erased hundreds of thousands of jobs, namely, at least 800,000 jobs have been lost since 2008 until 2013, let's say, end. Respecting the fact that by then we were counting the double dip recession, and today I'm speaking about a 3 dips recession. It might be even more, because the last year was another dip for this region. As a result, the strain has been put on a private sector, economic activity, as well as government budgetary resources. One could also strongly argue that growing inequalities, poverty, ill and unactable health, social exclusion, demographic aging, and the need for more sustainable and environmentally friendly resource management have become a major concern for all our economies. I'd also like to join you, Cihan, in focusing on post-2015 goals, respecting that we are completing one phase when it comes to MDGs. And we need really to focus where we are in other parts of the world, but when it comes to the RCC, in this part of the world, in fulfilling the Millennium Development Goals and the post-2015 agenda. Addressing the important task of job creation requires the pursuit of coordinated and coherent policies for generating inclusive job creation, creating economic growth. This demands sustainable macroeconomic stability, a business and investment-friendly climate, strong human capital, and enhanced entrepreneur skills, especially among youth. And this is why the 3 organizations join efforts and will continue working with the other partners as well. Additionally, investing in infrastructure development, as emphasized at the Berlin Conference on the Western Balkans, which was organized last year in August, will not only contribute to enhancing regional cooperation, but will also boost economic activity and job creation. You mentioned, and thank you very much, the Southeast Europe 2020 strategy, which was adopted by the region in November 2013. And it does provide a broad cross-sectoral platform for coordinated regional actions that aim to add value to national efforts towards meeting the agreed 2020 goals for the region as a whole in the areas of integrated, smart, sustainable, inclusive growth under a good governance for growth framework. Specifically, under the inclusive growth pillar, 6 economies have committed to jointly pursue the objective of creating new jobs by 2020 through skills development, employment creation, labor market participation by all, and abolishing labor market restrictions in the region, and there are restrictions still. In terms of complementary regional actions to achieve this goal, they have agreed to boost regional labor mobility, social economy development, and improve labor market governance. Free movement of labor in the region can help our region to be economically more competitive and fill skill gaps. Creating a single regional economic space can produce a critical mass of skilled labor that can be attractive for large investments in this region. Additionally, mobility can help alleviate some structural imbalances in the labor markets. In this respect, during last year, 2014, we in the RCC have engaged with ministers of labor to establish a consultative process on labor mobility We have sought expert input into possible actions that promote transnational labor mobility as an enabler to development, economic growth, and employment in the region. We have conducted a regional study on labor mobility in order to fill the gap in providing a better understanding of the current situation with regard to intra-regional labor mobility and the potential for its increase. We have organized national consultative meetings where we have engaged with different relevant stakeholders and have gained very useful insights into the process of facilitating labor mobility. A proposed roadmap for facilitating labor mobility is currently being assessed by our governments. It goes without saying that this is a long-term process that requires careful considerations based on the interest and potential benefits of each participating economy, and I would like to express our commitment to supporting the governments in this process of identifying and agreeing on the best ways and modalities for promoting labor mobility in the region. So our methodology is from national to regional. We try to respect the engagement of every government and the policies they are developing, and then to come up with the regionally agreed policies. During 2014, we have also worked with a team of experts from the region to produce a regional study on social economy, which is seen as a contributor to economic and social development for the region. Social economy initiatives provide flexible and viable tools that can help communities and countries successfully tackle social challenges, also through a business lens. The regional working group, composed of ministries of labor that operates under RCC auspices, meets now on a regular basis to push the agenda forward on all of these issues, but also to exchange views and practices on employment policies and programs. We also look forward to the cooperation with the European Commission, particularly in this respect with DG Employment and ILO in the Employment and Social Affairs Platform for the Western Balkan countries in their pre-accession process. The contribution of the Regional Cooperation Council with regard to this strategy, SC 2020, rests now, after it's been adopted, on three broad areas. One is monitoring, another one is programming, and the third one is implementing. And I'd like to explain what are we doing in this respect, what you should expect from us in the coming years. We see monitoring as the crucial part of the SC 2020 agenda and the reform process on a national level in general. We've agreed with our governments on the revisions of the targets of the SC 2020, of these headline targets, in order to bring them closer to the reality on the ground, having in mind this 3-deep recession that I've referred at. We have also identified a set of around 150 quantitative and over 200 qualitative indicators to track at the level of policy the performance of our governments. The main objective here is to point to major gaps, enable healthy competition between the governments, and ensure that the general public is closely involved in the reform process through publicly available and easy to understand tools. In the end of May, we will release the first annual report on implementation of the strategy. We're going to do it in Tirana, since Albania is chairing the Southeast European cooperation process this year. There will be an annual meeting of the RCC, there will be a governing board of the strategy meeting, but also ministerial and the summit. And there we're going to release all of this data. We're going to do it along with the SC 2020 scoreboards and the results of the Balkan Barometer, and I'd like to bring your attention to what the Balkan Barometer is. We have done a survey in the 7 economies, so in Croatia as well, on the top of the 6 accession economies. This is the public and a business sentiments survey, and we've just completed this, and we'll be launching all of this data publicly, save the date, May 6th, together with Commissioner Hahn in Brussels, and all ministers from the region. So in a matter of weeks, we're going to do it. At this point, I'm going to highlight some of the figures just to tease you. And then after end of May, it will be all on our website, rcc.int. And it will be quite interactive, so you can combine the data, comparing one with another country, or focus on one or the group of issues, etc. So, what I would like to share is that 29% of firms the skills taught in the education system do not meet their needs. So 29% of the companies have responded that the skills that have been taught in their societies do not match what they expect, what they need. With another 20% of companies being neutral. 25% of the businesses had vacancies that proved hard to fill. So we are discussing unemployment, and then again, companies are telling us that 1/4 of the issues a vacancy they have a difficulty to fill, mainly due to a lack of applicant skills, while 69% of businesses have experienced no or negative influence by active employment policies. Since I see some of those dealing with, on a national level, with employment policies, I'd like to point out of the relevance of these services. I can continue giving you data on what do people say when they are asked what is relevant for their success in life. And you will see that they are not mentioning necessarily education. They speak about networking, good luck, friends, meaning they do not recognize that there is a system of employment in the country. But that will come up later when you see all the data. Now I won't go very far in this. On the programming side, we are putting in place a structured and comprehensive process to come up with a solid and mature regional programs. The idea here is to translate the priorities and needs of the region into mature and ready to finance regional projects. We are working on this with our governments, but also with other regional sectoral organizations and international partners. A programming committee was set up and presented with these initiatives. A programming committee in this case, these are representatives of the national IPA offices. So those who are already dealing with EU finance are now in a way mastering where do we go when it comes to engaging on the concrete programs for RCC. Finally, as for the implementation of the strategy, Southeast 2020, our focus will rely on 3 main areas in which we will need to make progress in the medium term. The first one is improved connectivity. The second one, skills and mobility. And the third, enhanced competitiveness. On connectivity, we want to mostly focus on soft connectivity issues, such as facilitating trade and investment in the region, providing cross-border services and e-services, reducing roaming charges, etc. I believe that you already have enjoyed the roaming services in this region, which are hugely expensive compared to those coming from the EU. That's it. I mean, this is reality. And we want to do something there. Ministers have already committed themselves, but we need to work with the providers in order to at least have a similar level, the same, and then to go down when it comes to the roaming services. On skills and mobility, we want to address with our government some of the labor market restrictions in the region while enhancing skills and competencies of our workforce. And on the competitiveness related activities, we will continue focusing on regional value chain through our continued work with our partners, in this case the OECD, the World Bank, UNCTAD and others. The focus will be on the joint priority sectors identified by our countries, and they've agreed to focus on tourism and food and beverages. So these 2 are the priority areas for our governments, and then of course we will move further. I would add creative sectors, which could also provide a significant priority here. I'd like to stop to express my gratitude for the invitation and to commit to fully cooperate on behalf of the RCC with all of you, with you, Trihan, and your team in the UNDP, because I think there are other areas we can do better and more together. Thank you very much.